hate puppies. It's a good podcast.
I feel threatened.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Inside the Pallet House. Hope you guys are all staying safe and doing your part out there. I know it's not easy. It's been a weird couple months, to say the least, as we all know, as we're all experiencing it. But I'm glad when I'm talking to you guys out there, it sounds like at least you're doing as well as you can. I hope that's the case across the board. But if not, reach on out. We're here to talk. It's literally all we do.
That's right.
Troy, how you holding up, man?
Hanging in there, man. Hanging in there. Was around the house this weekend, got some things done. I'm a little bitter that it's, right now it's the day after Mother's Day. It's May 11th. And it was still chilly today. I'm like ready for the warm weather to be here.
It's literally freezing outside right now. I mean, it's crazy. I just planted a bunch of plants. I do that every year for Mother's Day. I like to plant. I put flowers in the ground for my wife. Like, I always get a big pot, like, do an arrangement. And then I plant all of our vegetables. And it's kind of, her language of love is doing stuff. It's like, what's that called? Service, I guess, is her language of love. So I learned long ago that a gift means literally nothing to her. And she certainly doesn't want me to go, like, get all touchy-feely for Mother's Day. So so I'm like...
That's always my Mother's Day gift. Non-touchy-feely. Like, I'm not pressing on you today.
Exactly. Like, I'm going to not make a move because I love you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna throw a move on you. That's my gift to you. I like the planning idea. My wife and I both are not green thumbs, so we don't really do much of that. But I like that. I am happy that my wife isn't like your wife in that the service thing, because your wife does want you to burn calories and run in place, and
yes, very much so.
That's tough. That's a tough language of love there. To love.
But now that I know it, I can at least I can embrace it. So I spent the day yesterday literally planting plants. Well, all right. So I got up, I made brunch. Shout out to my mother-in-law for purchasing brunch. All I had to do was reheat stuff at the right intervals. And
nice.
I'd be remiss if I did not wish my mother a happy Mother's Day. I know she listens. So love you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day. You're the best.
Happy belated Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
That's a good point. There are a handful of girls out there, women out there, whose men must be just bags of shit because they listen to us. So nice. We got your back, girls. Happy Mother's Day. But I spent the whole day doing, like, I woke up, made brunch, went on a big walk with the family, like got out, did something. Then my wife did like a social distance thing in the yard with like a couple friends from the neighborhood where they just hung out and drank mimosas. And then so as my gift to her, while she drank and listened to music and had laughs in the yard, I was just walking around planting stuff, putting in vegetables, tomatoes, jalapenos, all that crazy crap, planting big old things of flowers, and then washed her car. So like just kind of got after it in front of her while she had fun. And then everybody left and I cracked a beer and sat down. It was like, there you go.
Well, so go ahead, Stu.
I was gonna say you planted all that stuff and then we got the cold snap.
So yeah, I actually bought all the stuff last week and I never put it in the ground. So I was literally, the pallet house looked like a florist shop because I would take everything out during the day and then I'd bring it all back in here at night. But we're going to have to get through the next 2 nights. Like, I just hope nothing dies.
You get some bonus points because you look pretty dope in front of all our friends too. So hopefully they went back home to their husbands and laid it on them.
I'm hoping that I looked good. But then, of course, I don't go on Facebook and tell anybody, like, I love you or happy whatever. I just don't do it. It's just not my thing because I figure it's a slippery slope. If I wish one motherfucker a happy birthday, I'm now stuck wishing everybody a happy birthday. Or I feel obligated that, like I didn't wish this person one, but I did wish. So I'm like, oh, this is easy. I'll literally wish nobody a happy birthday or a Mother's Day or anything. And then I'll get on the podcast.
I turned my notifications off. I hit my birthday because I got tired of all of my air quote friends wishing me a happy birthday when probably about 4 of my friends know my birthday. And I'm fine with that because to me, a birthday is not a special day. It's just a day. So I hated having to respond. I felt like I had to respond to everybody's birthday wishes. And it's like, oh, you wouldn't even know if this stupid app didn't tell you today was my birthday.
I only know your birthday because it's the day before the most sacred birthday to me, which is mine.
Yes.
So anytime I think to myself, ooh, tomorrow's my birthday, I text Troy.
Yes.
That's how
Birthdays are just mark the fact that you went around the sun a whole time on this flat earth.
Yes.
Oh God. No, but you know what? As every year I get older, I appreciate the birthday a little more because I'm like, oh wow, I made it. Like I pulled it off despite the way I treat my body. I'm here.
So Brendan, I got to ask you, since I jumped in just a tad late for Mother's Day.
Yeah.
I hear that you've done all this stuff. And is this the stuff that you're helping your girls present to your wife? Because how did we get to Mother's Day being things I need to do for my wife?
Because my wife's language of love, or love language, is service. It's not physical. It's not gifts. It's not communication.
Hers is acts of service.
Acts of service. So
yeah.
I'm confused too, because I feel like once you have kids, then Mother's Day jumps from your mom to your wife. I feel like you have to make sure she has a good day, not your mother.
Right. I mean, so I always made sure that my ex had a good day based on what I was trying to get the kids, when they're very little, it's a card and flowers saying, thank you for being mom to my children. And then as the kids got a little older and they knew what was going on, then it presented itself as, okay, all right, girls, what do you guys want to do for mom? I'll help facilitate Mother's Day. And then, now that I'm not married, I still will just send a card that says, thanks for being a great mom to my kids. It's not, and I will take care of my mom. Like it's a Mother's Day. I mean, at Father's Day, it seems a little, I don't know, just a point of view.
I would just love to see Stu's Mother's Day card to his ex-wife. As a mom, you're an A. As a wife, you were a C.
Yeah, my kids saved my ass yesterday. I went out Saturday to look for gifts, and I actually Marco Polo'd you guys. I was in a fit of rage because
you were mad, dude.
The area, our area where we live was just bananas. There was no quarantine. There was lines everywhere. The Target I went in, it looked like the holidays. Everything was picked over. I got 3 cards. I got a card from my mom, my wife, and my mother-in-law, and I got the hell out of there. It was just bananas. But my kids saved the day yesterday because all on their own, they went on YouTube and they hand wrote cards to mom. They made paper roses and flowers.
Oh, that's awesome.
They made her a trophy, which was basically like a plastic liquor bottle that they cut in half and put aluminum foil all over and put world's best mom. And then,
dude, that's great.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then after dinner, they made enough flowers. We took some around to the moms in the neighborhood and gave them out to the moms in the neighborhood. And so,
damn, y'all hooked it up, man. That's impressive.
And we had my mother-in-law and my mom over, and we ate dinner outside, ordered in dinner, and so it was a good time. But my wife's not much on gifts anyway, especially for these made-up holidays. It's just not really. So get your wife. I'm telling you guys, get your wife flowers on a random day. Brendan and I have been beating this horse for years.
Yeah, I agree.
It's the best. And I say, wife, anyone you care about, just on not a day is the best day to ever give flowers or any gift.
And when you do it, send it to work and show up every dude.
Yep.
Every dude.
And it just takes all it takes is two little words. You just say, just because.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the best. Actually, I oftentimes, if I send my wife flowers in like August, the card will say Happy Valentine's Day because I'm just like, you're never getting flowers on Valentine's Day.
Yep.
Ever.
Yeah.
Well, my trick is if you can hand deliver them. And I can't tell you how many times I've walked in various places my wife worked with flowers, and everybody would be like, "Oh, what did you do? You're in trouble."
I just love my wife.
I'm like, I just love my wife. Is it a birthday? No. What is it? Nothing. I just love my wife. I wanted to bring her flowers, and people's heads are like,
yeah, that's the move, man. 100%. That's the move.
I was going to say, go ahead, Brendan. Sorry.
I was just saying, I felt bad that I didn't get a chance to do, I didn't get to see my mom on Mother's Day. Now, I don't get to see her often because we live kind of far apart on Mother's Day. And it's like, you guys are right. It's so much about your wife now when you have kids that you really have to lean in. So all I got to do with my mom was we'd had a Zoom call, which was good. I mean, it's like, the kids got to see my mom and like we all got to talk for a little bit, but it's still, I guess it's not the same, but reality is that in years past, I'm not driving 2.5 hours to go see her because I have to do the mom thing here. I can't take 5 hours out of my day minus the time. So the Zoom call was actually kind of nice, I guess, just doing that. But
yeah. I know I was going to say on the Mother's Day gifts, the one that my girls had did twice over the years, which I always thought was great, is they created the coupon book that they hand wrote with all the different things and chores and whatnot that they
massage stuff like that.
Yeah, clean the bathroom, vacuum the living room, all this like chore stuff and things they would do for mom. And what's great about it is my ex would keep the booklet and then they would forget about it. And then just on a random day, she'd whip out the coupon and go, boom, get in there and clean the bathroom. And they're like, what?
Oh, I was waiting to hear that those coupons never got cashed in.
Oh, no.
You cash them in on prom night.
Yeah.
You're like, nah, bitch, wash my car. I don't care how expensive that dress was. Like, get to work.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No, it's I think Mother's Day is it's a good day, but it's kind of, you get torn on what you're supposed to do, I think, relative to the kids and yourself with your wife. I mean, I don't know.
Well, that's unfortunately Dadapalooza looks like it's going to be shut down this year, which sucks.
Oh, well, at least you can schedule for a better band for next year then.
It's all falling apart, man. It's all falling apart. It's crazy. We need to get back to that though. Dadapalooza was supposed to be the ultimate concert. I mean, it was going to be it. It was going to be for the dads, kids invited, wives invited, obviously. I never understand that whole, like, it's Father's Day, Mother's Day, I don't want to be around the kids. I'm like, that's how you got the title, right?
Yep.
Literally the kids. So hang out with your kids, asshole. But,
yeah, I'm with you on that. That's weird too. Like, oh, I'm skipping town Father's Day weekend. Me and the guys are like, no, you're not.
Yeah,
that's literally the title. You got the title by having the kids. Now go hang out with your damn kids.
There was no way I could have done that because Troy, you probably don't know this, but Brendan does. Every Father's Day for 10 years, I'd crack a beer, sit on the couch, and both of my girls would do the full-on manicure, pedicure, hair, facial, like take me to their quote unquote spa day. And I would just sit there. And the worst part, well, not the worst, but the funniest part was they paint my toenails. A 4 and a 6-year-old painting your toenails is like shellacking wood.
Yeah.
They're just putting it on like coat after coat after coat. Well, Father's Day always happened about a week before we would go on the full-on family vacation down to Topsail or Surf City or, Sandbridge.
To the beach.
Yeah, to the beach. And when we went to Topsail, it's only a few miles from Camp Lejeune. And so all the Marines are on the beach, all these dudes, and here I am walking around in flip-flops with multicolored,
dude,
toenails, and it was hilarious.
I still have 9 out of 10 of my toes completely painted with a thick shellac of blue from like the second week of quarantine. And I forget that I have it. And there's been a couple days that are like flip-flop weather. And I just walk out and it's like, people are like, what the hell are you doing? But
I don't have daughters, but I'd be down for that because I like getting doted on like that. But both my boys have blue toenails right now. They think it's cool. They started doing that a couple of year ago. Every summer they get their mom to paint their toes, and they like it. I don't know.
Good on them.
They think it's cool.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, what would be the stigma with it? I mean, I know it's a girl thing or a guy thing, but I mean, it's just why can't you get it? I mean, same as a tattoo.
I'm
It's
sure
removable.
I'm sure I'll catch shit, but I did say I'm down with it, but let's not do the nails to match. I feel like that's a little much.
Isn't that funny? Like nails, I think you can't do that. But I'm like,
Right.
yeah, my toes are painted. What? Get off. You know, you need to lighten up. It's my toes. It's not my nails. Not my hands.
Yeah.
And for the most part, you don't have your toes seen unless you want somebody to see them.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like a tramp stamp. You don't have to show it unless you want to. Dude,
Be proud of it.
Stu, can you pull up that suit that I sent you so that you could show it to Troy? Because I'm fired up about this thing. We were just talking about Datapalooza, talking about concerts, and there's this company that has come out with what they are calling the concert suit. Now it's effectively like a hazmat suit that they've designed so that you can continue to party in mass, right, with all your people and go to festivals and go to concerts. So they've created this hazmat suit that they've painted like neon green and all this crazy shit. And it honestly, it looks like half the EDM bands that you see, like what they would come out in. But it like, I don't know, it's somewhere between Halo and Alien, like the kind of,
Wow.
it's crazy looking, but they have created a full suit that they're trying to sell to like festivals and stuff where like they can hand these out. And
There's no way that catches on.
no, but I love that they're thinking about it, you know?
It's got a cell phone pouch. It's got N95 protection for the air. You know, they're going full on, and it looks like you're in it would almost look like something you would see from, in a movie.
It looks like a Red Bull holster around that dude's neck.
Yeah, so the best part about that thing around their neck, it's got two areas where you screw in cans around your neck, and it's like an airlock where it's like, like it locks in. And
drinks?
Then there's a drinking tube that comes up, and you can sit there and pound beers.
That's it. Yeah.
Out of this like specialty can they made. But what kills me is if you're able to find a way to go look at what the other can is that they've put on here.
Oh.
The one can that you screw into the thing that locks into the airlock is for liquids. It's for beer.
Right.
The other one they've designed as a vape canister.
Nice.
So you can smoke inside the thing. So they have gone
I see here.
over the top where it's like you've got a drinking, hole that you can click into, and then you've got a vaping hole that you can click another canister into. And you could imagine all the things that they could create that go into the vaping canister, you know what I mean? For like concert goers.
The funny thing is that if you instead of using the tube to vape, I'm sure people just like, well, this is an enclosed helmet. I'm just going to open it up and people walking around a fog helmet, just sucking whatever in.
But that's exactly what they're going to do.
Obvious. I mean, the obvious thing here, the obvious question is, I go to a concert, I've had like a dozen beers. I got to go piss like 5 times. Like, how's that going to work?
So it has been set up so that you can piss. There's actually something about it if you scroll down, Stu, and I don't know what the exact answer is, but they do talk about it. They specifically say that there's like a female and male version of it. But this thing, they're saying this is going to be used for everything, like conferences, concerts, clubs, this is this guy's first attempt at it, but I've never seen anyone else go this far. So it's pretty awesome.
Oh, I see. It says because it fits on only the top half of your body will allow for easy washroom access too, meaning no awkward or unpleasant wardrobe changes in a cramped stall. Company also suggests your users can have sex while wearing it.
It's perfect.
Not that we're encouraging that kind of thing.
It's a condom for everything but your penis.
Yeah.
Which is the best kind.
We care about your safety so much, except still have sex in it.
Yeah, so look at this right there. Not only, Stu, stop right there. Not only has Production Club advertised the microshell to include a built-in phone charger, smartphone integration, an HD camera, private voice chat for your friends. The suit's also designed to have in-suit beverage and vape supply apparatus too. I mean, come on.
This is getting unreal, though. I mean, that's crazy.
This thing, I mean, I doubt we ever get to this, but the amount of people that I hear are freaked out about going to a concert or something, maybe this isn't too far off.
Well, I mean, that must cost a fortune.
That's what I'm trying to find.
Yeah, but they haven't said anything about the price. But I mean, these guys work with a lot of bands like Skrillex and Chainsmokers and stuff, the people who made them.
Foo Fighters.
Yeah, so could this be the microshell? Could this be what allows you to
the microshell
start going to concerts again? Or like they're like, look, we're not allowed to host a concert in California. Be like, no, we're gonna have microshells. Be like, oh.
You'll see like 10 people wearing one, and then it'll be 12,000 not wearing it.
I mean, it has to be $1,000 suit, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's what I'm trying to find as a price point for this product.
I haven't seen anything that gives the price point yet, but I love how futuristic and crazy it looks. I mean, you look like you're in Halo, but you're drinking beer and vaping. Now, I could only imagine if like your vape thing malfunctions and floods your mask and people are dying in mass. I mean,
have you ever worn like serious PPE like that, like full coverage stuff?
I have, because I plasti dip, my cars every couple of years. And I've got one of these masks that like really covers you up and has dual filters hanging off the sides, And when you pull that thing off, you'll literally snap it off, and sweat has been accumulating in there. It'll just pour down. It's like your breathing's all labored and crazy. It's not great.
When you put on a full body Tyvek suit like that with the breathing apparatus, a lot of people have claustrophobia issues with it. Like it's not made, like you don't realize you're like that until you do it.
Well, you need to dial down your vape. It's making you paranoid.
Right. I've gone through HAZWOPER training where you actually do that stuff and put on the full stuff where and it's weird. I mean,
I had to do it a couple times in the Navy with simulated chemical attacks, and you got to put on the full hazmat suit to go in and clean up something. If you're just and then there's which Troy, if you're just standard firefighting equipment, that sometimes can be just, all of that stuff it's not fun to wear. It works, but it's all hot as balls. I mean, you just sweat.
Oh yeah. Crazy. Yeah. You're never comfortable in it. That's for sure.
That's the thing. How would you make that comfortable? I mean, most of these big festivals are held in hot places. I mean, you want it to be in a hot place. So what, are they going to start moving all the big festivals up to like Cleveland?
Yeah, a lot of them are outdoors.
But it doesn't matter where the festival is or concert is. I mean, imagine everybody in one of these microshell suits, and it's just the same mass of people on the floor right in the front stage. You're gonna get hot as balls anyways with the body heat. And can you imagine just a mosh pit with a microshell?
Oh, and all of a sudden you get a tear in it. Now you're panicked.
Imagine all
the seal.
Imagine all the EMS personnel just picking up people dropping out left and right, just having heat strokes.
Oh, it's going to be brutal. But what a win for all the ugly people out there, because like now everyone's on the same playing field. You look great. You're going to be hooking
Did
up.
you see that meme? That it was a cute chick with a mask on. It was like ButterFaces.
Oh yeah.
Or now is your time.
Isn't that the truth, man? It looked good. That's true.
Yeah.
You see people, all you see is their eyes, and you go, "Hey,
Oh,
she's
yeah.
cute." You have no idea what's under there because 75% of the face is covered.
It's so funny though. The
Covered in herpes and chiclet teeth.
I was
Sold.
I was out in rural. I think I was out in rural Goochland or Louisa,
Speaking
and I went
of
into
no
a
teeth,
Yeah.
yeah, but I went into a 7-Eleven that was pretty much out in the middle of nowhere, and it didn't have any of the protective guidelines that are like you walk into a Wawa right now, you can't make your own coffee. You know everybody's got masks and there's the big plexiglass shield.
yeah.
This place was out in the middle of nowhere, and they're just like, we don't care. And I made my own coffee. There was no plexiglass. There was nothing. I was like, well, if you're not around a whole lot of people, I guess.
Did
But I
it
was like, this is the way
did it feel normal or abnormal to do it?
it felt comfortable to do it. But in the back of my head, I was like, well, why are they not? Or are they really just either aren't that concerned?
I worry about that. The cancer that's growing in my brain from all of this, there's like, and I don't mean like a physical cancer. I mean, like there's those dark thoughts. Like, as I know, we've been talking about like opening up, right? Like, let's come back in here and do the podcast, and we all want it. Right. And then I have these thoughts like, wait, should I be doing that? Should I not be doing it? It's funny how that cancer creeps into so many different aspects of my life. And I just hope it's not like debilitating down the road where little things I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that anymore. Like I haven't shook someone's hand in forever.
Yeah, but that's what I was just getting ready to say is it's so refreshing because twice I had this happen twice in the last 3 days. And one time was tonight. I met a buyer to show a house, and guy just shows up in his truck, and I get out, I meet him for the first time, and we just immediately, both of us, and just went for the handshake, didn't say a word, and everything was cool and went about our business and all this, and it was fine. And then a couple of days, last weekend, I was hanging out with friends at a party, social distancing, quote unquote, but there was a couple people I didn't know and hadn't met before. And one guy comes out and I shake his hand and he shakes my hand back. And then you could see this look on his face just drop. And it was like, oh. And I found out the guy's like in medical sales and all this other stuff. And I was like, oh, did I just ruin the whole party because I extended my hand? And now he's like, oh, and he's talking and everybody kind of looked at me funny. And I was like, well, I just was shaking the guy's hand.
Breaking news: Stu is dying.
Yeah. Yeah, that first handshake I do is going to literally feel like my first kiss.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, oh my God, I did it. That was crazy.
So you guys hear the radio ad? I can't remember who's putting it out there. Maybe it's just the tourism for Virginia or whatever it is. But they say when this all ends, hugs are going to mean so much more. And I was thinking to myself, well, what does that mean? I mean, is it because we're not going to touch people? We're not going to hug people? We're not planning to in the future? Or like they were trying to tug at heartstrings. Like, if you like somebody, you're going to hug them anyways.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to all of that, honestly. It's really weird. I worry about that cancer that's growing in my brain. The fear, I guess it is, like they've instilled it long enough that I'm like, oh shit. Is that taking hold?
I'm not worried about myself so much as I'm worried about the amount of people I know that are just full on, still full panic mode, still full lockdown, like have drank all the Kool-Aid. And I'm like, these people are never going back to anywhere close to normal.
But their cancer's fully manifested, right?
Yep,
like it's already grown. And that's what I just worry because I know that I can feel that it's like the dark side, right?
Yeah.
I can feel that the dark side is there and I'm fighting it like, no, asshole, you're a normal person.
Yeah.
hold it together. Like this too shall pass. It's just crazy. It's the psychological warfare that we're all under right now, and we're all dealing with it and trying to figure out where we really stand and what we really think. And it's not easy, man. And it's not easy for some of the strongest, mentally strong people I know. It's tough.
Yeah. And every now and then it just jumps in my head, like how much, me and my friends and family are struggling with it, and how lucky we are, because most everyone I know still has jobs, still getting paid, decent house, decent income, decent life. And it's like, I always just think about the people that aren't as fortunate, and like how much harder it must be for those people.
Yeah, who are really stuck there on the precipice of despair. Like they look ahead, they don't see a light, they're frustrated. And like, all right, my wife, Troy, you and I were talking about this earlier. My wife is like, mentally, I don't know if she really is that strong or if that's just what she puts off into the universe. I've never quite figured out what it is, but she's
a tough cookie.
Yeah, she's a strong woman.
Or she comes across as such.
That's what I say. I've never quite wrapped my head around all of what exactly it is, but there's no denying she's strong. I just don't know how much of it is bluster and how much of it is just backed up by fact, but there's undeniably a very strong woman.
Yeah, I know when she walks into a room with 15 dudes hanging out drinking beer, we all stand up a little straighter.
Everybody does.
Mind their P's and Q's and
the principal's here.
Yeah, like she's in charge, and that's just how she's always been. Friday
she's
night,
your yin and yang.
Oh, she absolutely is. Absolutely is. And Friday night, she finally turned to me, like we were drinking, listening to records, because that's what hipsters do. And we're sitting there, and she turns to me and she's like, I can't do this. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, I just can't stay here. Like, we have to get out of this house. We have to go. And she had never shown a single crack until that moment. And she was just like, I don't care if it's just the four of us. Like, it's not about seeing other people. It's like, these walls are closing in. I need to get out of here. So we actually booked a cabin, and we're gonna go away for a few days, just as the family, and like hole up in a cabin, because she's like, I've just got to get out of these walls. And it was the first time I'd heard her say anything like that. So
well, and she's been going to work every day. You're the one that's been stuck at home. Like, you've been really imprisoned by the house more than she has.
Yeah, I don't go anywhere except for maybe once or twice a week. I might slip out to do something, but it's like, I'm pretty much locked down because I got the kids in tow. I can't drag them around. Like last week, my big outing was I got to go to the vet. It's like, yes.
Yeah.
And then I got to the vet. They wouldn't let me in. They said, stay in your car. We'll take the cat from here. I was like, damn it. I didn't see anybody.
Yeah. Well, you had the cat experience. My youngest had a baby tooth that fell apart from a cap she'd gotten, a crown she'd gotten when about 5-6 years ago, and then it was holding a molar coming in, and she ended up getting a pinched nerve and a cyst. And we needed emergency vet. See, there you go. Got an emergency dental visit.
What's this, like John Wick? He's like, I'm taking her to the vet.
Yeah, you should take your daughter to a doctor, dude. That's where you go wrong.
Yeah, man.
Well, so this was Friday,
like Kramer,
like
with his cough.
within a span of 24 hours, she went from just normal to tooth hurt to her cheek swelled up twice the size of a golf ball in her bottom jaw. And we called every single emergency dentist we could, and they're like, we're not quite there yet to do emergency visits, or we couldn't fit it in and whatnot. And I finally got her to the dentist this morning. And
they prescribed a Kong with some peanut butter in it that she could just gnaw on.
Yeah. And a lick stick.
Yeah. A bully stick would be good for what she's got. Yeah.
Ooh, her coat is looking really rough these days.
Yeah.
But it was so heartbreaking because I got to the door and there's a big sign that says, stop, call, and let us know you're here. So we're sitting on the car hood out front of the doors, and this lady in full PPE, face shield and everything, comes out and takes her temperature, says, "Have you been out of the country?" Doesn't look at me. Says, "Have you been out of the country, Penelope, in the last 6 months?" I'm like, "No, she, but then they're like, "You can't come in. Sorry, we're 10 people limit." That's it. So she's in the chair for 2 hours
by herself,
doing a tooth pull and draining this. Says she's got a permanent tooth that's coming in sideways. Braces are in her future, the whole 9 yards. And I'm just sitting there like her mom couldn't make the appointment. I had to take her. I couldn't go inside. I'm sitting there twiddling my thumbs this whole time. I'm thinking, she's, I'm like, this virus sucks. This is the worst thing ever.
That does suck, man. I'm sorry to hear that. That's traumatic as shit.
But the end result was she was a trooper. She came out of it. She's feeling a lot better. But it just, I was like, man. And it made me think about I know people that are in the hospice side of the medical field, and they're doing the same thing. You got a grandmother, a mom, or a sister, brother, or somebody who's on the, in hospice, in the hospital. You can't have but one person go see them.
Yeah, I had a friend.
Terrible.
I had a friend just give birth. She got to go do that by herself. I mean, how crazy is that? Yeah, it's like the husband dropped her off, and he's like, "All right, I'll see you later.
We're going to play some golf."
Yeah, like, good luck. Don't forget to breathe. Yeah, you got this.
I'll be on the Xbox.
Yeah.
What's crazy to me is being a very small part of both my kids being born is one of my greatest memories. The fact that like our dads and our dads' didn't do that, it just seems like just so alien to me. Like it's crazy.
I think my dad would have done it, but he was in
anywhere but there.
Yeah, well, we were in Atlanta. I mean, my parents were in Atlanta at the time, but my mom went home to.
Stu was born in West Virginia, so that shows where his dad was.
Because my dad was in Quantico for OCS boot camp for the Marines. So otherwise, I would have been in Georgia, but she went home to have me, and then 6 months later is back in. Well, then we moved to Baton Rouge, but yeah, I mean,
I don't understand any of Stu's stories. You hear that? He's like, so we're living living in Atlanta. Now I was born in West Virginia, but my dad was in Virginia. I'm like, what I missed, Stu?
My parents lived in Atlanta.
Okay.
And my dad joined the Marines.
So why was she in West Virginia?
Because when he was in boot camp, she was delivering me and didn't want to be home, do it alone. So she went to Charleston with her mom, where my grandparents lived.
But Charleston's not near Quantico.
What I'm saying is my dad would have been there for my delivery, but he was in boot camp and couldn't make it.
God, well, say that, but I don't think our dads were there. I don't think it was like common practice.
Maybe, yeah. Well, yeah, you're right. You're right. Back in that time, even further, the dad stayed out in the waiting room. They're like they usher off the lady, and the nurses are doing their thing.
That's crazy, man. Speaking of that, health insurance is not our boy's specialty, but when you have a baby, you do have to start thinking about life insurance. It's kind of a real deal thing. It's something you should consider. If you're looking at life insurance, if you're looking at annuities, if you're looking at boat insurance, because let's be honest, that's kind of a baby too, right? Yeah, I'm getting ready
to get into some boat insurance.
You're damn right, man. You should absolutely get some. And you know what you should do if you're going to get a boat? Probably get insurance on it. And you know who you should call?
Who?
Ryan Parker at Tao Insurance. That's what I would do.
Right. That's what I would do.
Now, what I would do when I call him is I would say, "Hey, I heard about you on Inside the Pallet House, so I'm here to get some insurance." And Ryan will take care of you because the dude's a good dude. He's been a longtime listener of the show. He's always helped us out. He is the famous guy who blessed us with the butthole spoon. Long story. But it's actually one of the prized possessions we have here at the Pallet House. So he's always
over the door.
Yeah, it really is over the door, and he's always taking care of us. So if you have any insurance needs, and I mean any from outside of health, home, auto, life, annuities, Roth IRAs, business, farm, boat, classic car, umbrella insurance. If you've got really nice umbrellas and you want to make sure they're okay, then Ryan Parker's your guy. If you want to get a hold of him over at Tao Insurance, it's 804 855-4567. That's actually his cell too. Like, you're going to get Ryan. You're not going to go through some secretary. You call 804-855-4567. And when he picks up the phone, you say, "Inside the Pallet House sent me. Now, what are you going to do for me?" And he'll take it from there. He'll help you out with whatever insurance you need. And the reason we mention it, not because he's just a great guy, which he is, but he sponsored this week's deli.
That's right.
So,
you can also email him at ryan@talinsurance.com. And we can't speak highly enough about the dude. Solid dude, great friend. He's been a personal friend of mine for, we met in 96, so 24 years. Great guy, great husband, great father, and great insurance guy. So hit him up.
Now, if you're out there thinking, boy, that read was better than last week's, it's because,
You'd be right.
We owe this guy a better read than we did last week. I was absolutely, I was overloaded with anti-foaming agents and I believe some level of chicken, and I was about 40 nuggets in at this point, and I was having a real hard time focusing. So, Ryan, I owe you an apology on the read. So this week, I wanted to make sure that we did it, a little better on account of, my God, last week's read was bloated. I don't know.
So what do we got this week, Brendan?
Man, this week is an interesting beer. I'm actually psyched to try this. This is the Lagunitas, which I like Lagunitas. Now, this is the Lagunitas 2020 one-hitter series, and it's called the Phase Change. And I guess it's like a seasonal IPA they've put out. So I'm really excited to try this one because I do like what Lagunitas does.
I wish Ely was here.
Oh, he would hate this beer because this is wet hopped.
I was going to say, it says a seasonally unexpected wet hop juicy ale. His head would explode. The can says contents under fresher. What does that even mean?
So literally, they didn't even dry out the hops. They took the hops straight off of the plant, and before it dried out, threw it in there. So this is going to be over the top.
What does it mean when they're saying is that part of the unfiltered process?
I don't know if they've unfiltered it or not.
It says unfiltered on the bottom of the can and in the description.
Oh, this is going to be a nightmare of hops. I'm excited.
This is not good.
It's a cool-looking can for sure.
Do you want to go for the full read on the screen, Troy, or on the can?
Hey, guys, this is really interesting beer.
All right, here we go. I'll do the read off their website. Hops are good. Fresh hops are better. Wet hops are best. We say wet hops because they have not been dried after harvest. We say better because they possess the fullest expression of hop flavor, vine fresh. Since harvest only occurs one time a year, achieving year-round wet hop flavor has become the holy grail pursuit of hoppy brewing. Our quest led us to develop a new hop liquefaction process, which, born again yesterday, first proved damn near divine.
Ooh.
Today we're changing things further, bringing that seasonally unacceptable wet hop flavor to an unfiltered juicy nectar that's somewhere between a solid and a liquid, a phase change of sorts.
So you said unacceptable.
No,
it was unexpected hop flavor.
Unexpected. Oh, sorry.
Little Freudian slip there. We know
Yeah.
Troy already hates it. Yeah, I would think Ely would hate this. It is
7.2.
Yeah. But I've now had it. Now, granted, I've only been drinking IPAs tonight, so my palate might be a little off, but I've been drinking IPAs all night. So
It smells good.
dude, I was shocked at what the wet hop does. I think it's I'm going to try to not say too much until we get to my point or my part, but
I love the final word on their entire write-up and description is a one-word sentence with an exclamation mark, and it just says science.
That's right.
yeah, this is
And it kind of goes along with the purple, I would say, early 80s marketing, the kind of like a what's the Tron movie?
Tron.
Yeah.
Fucking
That's
moron.
what I mean, yeah. Tron. I was trying to say the movie Tron.
What kind of dumbass? Hey, what's that Home Alone movie called?
It's actually to play off Stu's the marketing where it says phase looks like the font in that what was that movie Back to the Future? What was that Back to the Future movie called?
Star Wars?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It looks like Back to the Future where it's like repetitive.
What's funny is our can is different than what they're oh, never mind. I turned the can around. No, we're good. I'll take that back. I just stewed
Look at
it.
the backside.
I just stewed it.
Oh,
Totally stewed that.
You're stewed, buttwad.
Can you tell this can Brendan, can you tell it's purple at the top and phase is in purple?
No, it's a beautiful blue.
it's
Can you see the orange and yellow and red in the phase behind the purple part?
Yeah, it's a beautiful blue.
It's all blue.
I mean, I see that it goes from yellow to orange.
To orange to red.
yeah, it's yeah, you got it.
But it's cool. Stu, have you had enough sips of this to have an opinion, or should I give you
I
another
can
second?
tell you my opinion would be based on an IPA, which I'm not a big fan of, like Ely. This is completely different.
This is not what you expected, was it?
No, because when you think of like,
I thought it was going to be over the top hop.
right,
Yeah.
and maybe it's because if it's this is just me not knowing anything about beer. If it's a wet hop,
That checks out.
and you're adding more, I don't know, moisture. If you're adding more moisture to it, it kind of doesn't allow the hops to really come out all the way. Versus, a dry hop that's going to add more flavor, then it cuts it. And I'm just guessing, but that's probably why it's not quite as strong. And
Dude's just spitballing over here, the science of it.
Yeah, we all are though. Let's be honest. None of us are sommeliers.
right. So, I mean,
This is wine.
I can't say I can't say I hate it.
Well, that was a ringing endorsement.
I'm still
waiting to hear the score because you never know.
That literally sounds like
Never
how
know.
you endorse a fart. Well, I can't say I hated it. It's like that is like the best thing you could say about a fart.
Could have been worse. Could have been better. I don't
Yeah.
know. I didn't
What do you think
crap
about
myself.
what do you think about coronavirus? Can't say I hate it.
You should. You should. It's hateable.
Yeah.
It's hateable.
I'm going to go above what I think I should and say I'm stuck between a 2.5 and a 3.
All right.
Because
Give
usually an
it to
IPA, it'll get the 3 because the can's really cool.
Can is
Because-
dope.
Yeah.
Can's dope. If this was a typical IPA, and yeah, for me, if this was like a typical IPA, I'd be like 2, and happy because I just don't really like those flavors. But I like the taste; it's not bad, and it doesn't stick around on the back end a whole lot. And the marketing's great, so I'll go 3.
I like it.
Yes,
Troy,
Stu.
what are you thinking there?
Stu kind of made sense there at the end, so I'll give him some credit. Now, looking at this beer with all the crazy verbiage on it and 7.2%, I thought not gonna like it.
I agree.
I do like this beer actually. Not sure. Maybe Stu's correct on the science behind it. I don't know if I've ever had a wet hopped beer, but this beer has great flavor on the front end and finishes pretty clean on the back end, which is always my knock on IPAs. I don't like that funky mouth that it leaves. This to me is just the citrus is just right and it leaves a clean finish for the most part. I like this beer. I give this beer at least a 3.5. I mean,
Nice. Okay.
it's a good IPA. Now, whether or not IPA heads will like it because it's not nearly as skunky, that's a whole nother,
So I'm gonna actually 100% agree with Stu's concept of why it's not overly hoppy.
It's a miracle.
I am Stu. Look, I hate to do it, but tonight's full of surprises. I'm gonna say, Stu,
I
that
think
was bright. It was right
I
on.
think he's right. Yeah, I don't know if it's right, but I mean, if you engineer it, it makes sense, right? If dry hops are super funky, yeah, maybe keeping it wet hopped is the answer.
I mean, there's some truth to it. Look, you pick something out of the garden, you smell it, it's got a fresh, good scent. You let it dry, and it's like it almost becomes a little more powerful for some reason. It just does. And I think Stu is spot on. It's like the hops didn't fully develop in that drying phase where they get more pungent. And because of that, this beer, when you initially taste it, you actually get the effervescence of a beer before the hops even hits, which usually a super strong IPA, especially one that's 7.2, is going to hit you in the mouth like pop right away. Yep. This did not do that. And the hops that are in it, I find to actually be very complementary to the rest of the beer. So Stu, credit to your analysis. I think you're spot on. Something about the fresh hops is milder. It's a little more approachable than your typical IPA, especially one in the 7.2 range.
Yeah.
So where you scoring it, Brendan?
It doesn't linger. It doesn't linger in the back of your mouth. It goes away much like a normal beer would. So the hops just lives in the middle of the flavor. I love it. And
what is this word?
Simcoe hops. Simcoe, Citra, and Mosaic hops, which I'm more of a fan of the Citra than just about any other.
Yeah. Simcoe, all three of those are very popular hops.
I was in between a 3.5 and a 4, but I'm so blown away at how different this is. Now, Troy, I also agree with you. A true hophead is going to be like, hold on. It's not over the top like where I just smell like I got a bag of pot in my mouth. It's different. It's more mild, so a true hophead may not like it. But I think a true hophead that's not just being an asshole would actually understand that this is something different. It's really, really good.
One of those.
This is a 4 for me. That's a high score. And the reason I'm giving it the 4 is because I want to push it to a deli winner. And at a 3, a 3.5, and a 4, we can net out at 3.5, which is the deli entry point. And I want to give it to him. I'm going to give it a 4. This is a deli winner. The face. What was that?
Phase change.
Sorry,
phase change. Somebody just phase changed.
Yeah. Did that pick up on Mike?
Oh, it picked up on Mike.
Sorry about that.
Can you go back in post? You can take care of that.
Yeah, I'm going to amplify it. So I'm going to give that a 4. We're going to ring this thing up as a deli. Unfortunately, the bell is still completely wrapped up in cords. I should have fixed that. But that's a deli winner right there, man. That's a dope-ass beer. And I honestly believe, if Ely had been here, he would have netted out in that same ballpark range because it's really easy drinking.
I mean, I find it easy drinking, but it's kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
Like where you go from, because if you're not an IPA drinker, like you said, you can taste it up front. It doesn't linger on the back end, but like right in the middle is where I get that.
Ring it up, Troy. Ring it up.
Oh, go for it, Troy.
That's all I got.
I was just saying, like, right. That's why I'm like, right in the middle is that top of the mouth, that, that flavor that just kind of sticks there. That doesn't appeal to me as not an IPA fan, but it definitely is. It all disappears, and he's trying to ring that damn bell. Ring the bell, man. Go for it.
Yeah, I would highly, I would recommend this one to anyone that's on the
there. I made it happen.
Fence.
I pulled that thing down. Rang that bell.
And it's a 7.2, which is pretty dope.
Yeah, so that means I'm not going to make it to the end of the podcast.
All right, good night, Stu. It's good having you on. At least you showed up.
That's not a ringing endorsement of your own challenge. Do we want to bring that up?
Okay. So let's just talk about this. 120 minutes is 10 beers.
Whoa. You're not.
Which is the full podcast.
No, you're supposed to do a power hour is 60 minutes.
Well, I'm not. We're not trying to cheapen it. We're just trying to go for
What
it, right?
the fuck? Okay, I have
Dude,
heard.
you might want to think about this, too. Talk some sense into your boy.
I have heard people go so far as to do the Century Club.
Yes.
And I'm willing to accept that, but otherwise, just to let everyone behind the curtain here, you know, Ely and I had the opportunity to do the Nugget Challenge, which was honestly really like gross feeling on our end, but I don't think it made for the best pod because we both nailed it. Like we both nailed it. I did
you
not.
Know what's crazy? If you think about it, when I listen back, y'all both did the first 20 in like 4 to 5 minutes. You did the second 20 in like 4 to 5 minutes. And then the last 20 was
realistically,
like 10
it
minutes.
was.
So like you ate 60 nuggets literally in 20 minutes.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you take the first two segments, it's really, you guys ate 40 nuggets in less than 15 minutes because you both were done less than 5 on the second round. So
that's true. Even with the gap,
40 minutes. 40 nuggets in less than 15 minutes.
It was grotesque. It was grotesque.
But it was kind of underwhelming because no one booted and no one tapped out.
I honestly anticipated that we would. It never occurred to me that 60 nuggets was like an easily achievable goal. And I guess I still don't think it's easily achievable. I just think that you had two finely tuned athletes going head to head.
On the verge of greatness.
Yeah, I mean, when you put...
Two of the best at the top of their game. I mean, it's kind of our fault for not expecting.
If you put Usain Bolt and Ben Johnson or Carl Lewis, you bring them together, it's like, it's going to be a hell of a race, and they're going to do things you didn't expect. But
iron sharpens iron. I mean,
iron sharpens iron. No, that's absolutely right. So, but we have been talking about trying to send back a power hour to the rest of the crew, so Ely and I could take a seat back and just kind of discuss. And
we were talking about another eating challenge, but I'm not much on. Believe it or not, I'm not much on the eating that amount of food. Like it doesn't entice me. Like,
but you do love to drink.
I do enjoy drinking beer.
Yeah, and in retrospect, I previously, a couple years back, overdid eating a certain amount of steak and enjoying an acute bout of pancreatitis.
Literally,
so I'm like, I wasn't good. So
like
Stu was in the hospital.
Not steak, but I had steak. Imagine an all day affair of eating and drinking and eating and drinking and eating and drinking, and did that for a large amount of time for over a 10-hour span. And what I ended up doing was overloading my pancreas.
Oh, wow.
Process it out. And what I thought was a normal hangover the next day didn't go away for like 2 days. And I went to the doctor and he's like, yeah, you put too much in and you can't process it out because you overloaded your pancreas. You got acute pancreatitis. So I ended up going a long time without doing anything, almost, I think it was 6-9 months, not drinking and being on a healthy diet to like let my pancreas subside. And the more and more that I thought about it, and it came up right before we did the nugget challenge, because I was like, I can do this. I hadn't even thought about it. But then I realized, like, dude, if I put that much protein back in and try and process it, and we're having a beverage like we do on,
it's like he's
podcast,
fucking
like,
Lil Kim.
Like this may not be a good thing, but I
do
plus
agree.
You
follow. You're an anti-gluten guy, and
it would have been devastating. It would have been devastating.
I'm not trying to get in a tofu eating contest or anything weird like that.
No, but like we're trying to say, you got Brendan and Ely did a food challenge. So now we need you and me to do something so that Ely and Brendan so everybody's experienced something and it'll be good to go. And a power hour, it's 5 beers. Let's go for it.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Or extend it by, I tell you what, Troy, just like Brendan, I'll go 5 more minutes than you.
Okay.
The reality is, you two assholes, we don't have enough memory card to see how long. You two shit bricks will literally drink all night long. I don't question that. Like, it was a far greater leap to think that Ely and I could eat 60 nuggets than me thinking you guys can't drink 10 beers.
Well, the problem with us, so with the nugget challenge, it was all basically based on will you get ill or tap out, and you didn't. So,
right.
But with Stu and I drinking that amount of beer, we will be intoxicated. So there will be some repercussions.
Well, and that's actually, you don't judge a power. Now, look, if somebody boots, they're out. I mean, that's an automatic DQ.
Reversal of fortune, you're done.
Yeah, the reversal of fortune, you're out. But ultimately, the only way to judge a power hour is who does a better job podcasting during the power hour. I mean, that's how I think you have to judge it. Who brings more funny to the show? So I think that'll be very interesting. Because
Stu's in a hole already.
Yeah, but look, look. I get that you've had
rain
a lot
on
of
a curve,
practice.
rain on a curve.
No, I also think though that Troy, you have a point of diminishing returns.
That's true.
And if we hit that point, Stu could pull from like a come from behind victory at the end.
Slingshot, old Ricky Bobby style.
Oh, Ricky Bobby. Shake and bake. So we shall see. I'm excited to do it. I think it's going to be a couple weeks from now, and then we'll go ahead and we'll set that up. It should be an exciting evening. And I know, Stu, you got some things in the works that we need to iron out for this.
We're going to do that in person.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. I mean, the food challenge, you can.
Honestly, I didn't want anyone near me during the food challenge. I felt like I was literally sweating anti-foaming agents. It was brutal. I haven't been, and I wasn't the same for a couple days after. Like, it really was.
Dude, it's not. It's a huge intake of sodium. It's a huge intake of whatever they say is legal via the FDA, but anti-foaming agents and other things.
It was good. It was good.
Yeah,
it was fun.
Well, I hope the listeners liked it. I hope it translated a little bit into the ears of our fan base.
It did. I think it did on some level, but I can tell you, I heard a lot of chatter about people like, "Oh my God, you really did it! Can't wait to listen to the episode." And then I didn't get a whole lot of, "Oh my, that was so much fun! What a great episode!" It was a lot of, "Oh, I see you did it. This is exciting." And then the chatter stopped, and I was like, "Huh." Maybe it wasn't our best episode, but it was certainly the most full I've been in months.
Somebody puking would have been better for sure.
Yes, for sure. So, hey, speaking of fantastic events, Troy, I've already talked to you. I'm hoping, Stu, did you happen to catch the UFC fight this past weekend?
I did not catch the fight, but was that the fight where the guy ended up going to the hospital, got knocked completely out and was in bad shape?
I didn't see anyone that had to go to the hospital from a knockout. I saw someone that should have gone to the hospital from getting his face turned into ground beef,
that's right. Maybe he did. Maybe it wasn't the same night, but I think that's what I didn't see it, but I read an article that's talking about the UFC fight, and the guy was like had to go to the hospital later on. And he's just because it was a complete beatdown, and the fact that your wife was able to sit there and watch it with you outside of having people over, that was kudos to her over Mother's Day weekend. She
did her best. She
watched the fight with you?
She watched at least the prelims with me. So I told my wife, I was like, "Hey, I'm going to get this fight. Like, I am watching this UFC fight. I haven't seen sports outside of Michael Jordan," which I would love to talk about that too, because that's the greatest thing on TV. But I was like, I want to get this UFC fight. And she was like, "You know what? I'll watch it with you," because she didn't want to have a whole bunch of people coming over here. And I don't blame her. I was kind of like, I don't know where I stand on this, the cancer growing in my head. So I was like, let's get this UFC fight. She goes, I'll tell you what, I'll watch it with you. And she watched all the prelims with me. But then I had a buddy who got the fight, and we Zoomed while also watching the fight. So that was kind of cool. We were able to talk about it, and we were able to bet on it. And man, that was like one of the best UFC cards I've seen in forever. And I don't know if it was because I haven't seen sports. Like, I'm so starved that I could have watched, professional bowling and been like, that dude picked up a 7-10 split. Like, I don't know. But those fights were to die for. And there were a couple guys. There was one star that was already known, and he didn't change my opinion of him. But when I saw Francis Ngannou fight, I was like, I always thought that dude was a badass. Dude, he came out and flat out destroyed a dude. Like, instant. I was like, yep, he's everything I thought he was. That dude is one of the baddest fighters I've seen. And he's a heavyweight, so he's a ton of fun. Like, he's a killer. But there was a star was born during those fights in this kid, Gaethje. I don't know if you guys have heard about this kid, Justin Gaethje.
No.
But so Tony Ferguson, as far as the lightweights go, Tony Ferguson's like a stud. Like, can't be messed with. So this kid, Justin Gaethje, he ended up taking the fight like kind of like last minute. Like, he ended up he was the 4 and this guy's the 1 contender, Ferguson. So Gaethje comes in, man, and they're showing all these clips of this kid just knocking people out left and right the whole time. I'm like, who the fuck is Justin Gaethje? Like, this kid's awesome. Like, this kid's going to be a ton of fun. Now, I ended up betting on Ferguson because he's the known commodity, and I was like, I'll go with this, which was the kiss of death for Ferguson because I had money on him. And dude, Gaethje came out.
Brandon bets on him.
Yeah,
it's smart.
Over. I have never been so excited to lose my money in my life. This kid Gaethje hit him with like 25 different punches that each time he hit him, I was like, oh, he's knocked out. But that's what made it so exciting is Ferguson cannot be killed. He just kept coming back. It was literally like watching Rocky. Like, he was just getting pummeled and he just kept coming back for more. And Gaethje was like, I can't believe I'm not killing this guy. And he never stopped whooping his ass in a way that was like, it was so exciting. It was amazing to watch.
So that's probably what I saw, because right now what I'm seeing is Gaethje won.
Yes.
And now, as of 4:00 today, Conor McGregor wants to fight.
Oh, McGregor crawled out of the woodwork to be like, I want that dude. And if that fight happens, I don't care what it costs. That's gonna be the most exciting fight ever, because this kid Gaethje hits like a ton of bricks, and he didn't get winded the entire time. And McGregor's gonna be obviously McGregor's the best draw in UFC, and they can fight in the same weight class. So let's make that happen.
Yeah, I saw a highlight of that dude afterwards trying to after he's done jumping over the ring, and he went back over to check on the dude and give him some love, and the dude pushed him off. And
didn't he say fuck? Or yeah, he said fuck or push him off. Yeah,
he pushed him away. And when I saw that dude's face, I mean, he looked like he'd been put through the.
Are you sure? Are you sure that wasn't the Dominic Cruz fight?
Maybe it was Dominic. I saw Dominic Cruz got the push away. Like
Dominic Cruz, like that dude got whooped, and he was getting up against the cage, and the ref called it. Dominic Cruz has now come out and said the ref reeked of alcohol and cigarettes. He said all kinds of crazy comments. He's like, oh wow, he's over the moon pissed off. He was over there fighting with Dana White, like this is great. But so as soon as that other dude came over to be like, great fight, he was like, get the fuck away from me. It was, but all of it added to a spectacle that I did not expect. I mean, it was honestly, from the time the main one started, it was perfect. Like,
that was in Florida, right? They had to fight in Florida.
Yeah, where else can you do sports?
Yeah.
So it was, and what was so strange about it is, like, there's no crowd. So you're not getting.
Oh, there was no crowd.
No
That's
crowd.
Right, I didn't think about that.
So they're still doing the light shows. They're still doing the music. The hype was great. I didn't miss the crowd very much. And Joe Rogan, the consummate professional that he is, you know, he's doing a great job the entire time of being like, oh, what?
Yeah.
You know, so he gives you the crowd. You know, Joe Rogan is the crowd.
He is the crowd.
So you listen to his hype level and you get hype. Like, yeah, that was a hell of a shot. Because it's like, it's been acknowledged by someone else that what you saw was awesome. Right. Joe Rogan did a great job. Joe Rogan was pissed off because he wasn't allowed to sit next to his other commentators. They made him sit 6 feet apart. And Joe Rogan's like, how does this make sense? Because you've tested every one of us every day. Yeah. Up until this moment. One guy tested positive for coronavirus and was thrown out. So that fight was removed from the card, which nothing was lost. Honestly, it was such a good card. So they moved that up. And Joe Rogan's like, hold on, let me get this straight. These dudes are allowed to beat the hell out of each other and bleed all over each other. And I'm not allowed to sit next to people who've also been tested and tested clean. Like he thought there was some hypocrisy in that, which is interesting.
He's right. And that's the type of stuff that pisses me off. Like, if we're going to use our heads and be logical, that's not logical. Like, and just to say
that was his argument.
Oh, for safety. No, it's not for safety. We know you're good. We know he's good. Sit right next to each other. You're not even talking at each other. You're talking, you know, facing away from each other. You're not bleeding and sweating on the dude. Like,
yeah, we're just sitting
use your brain.
So, and we've all been tested every day, you know, for weeks leading up to it, every day, which is crazy though, because one guy tested positive and two of his people in his camp tested positive the day before. I mean, that shows how quickly this can just pop up. So I understand some of the logic, but he's like, look, we've all been tested. And then Joe Rogan was asked
he's been testing himself anyway.
Joe Rogan tests himself every day and tests everybody that comes into his podcast. So he's on top of it. But Joe Rogan made it a point to go over and shake all the fighters' hands and do the interviews, and they had asked him not to. And Joe Rogan was like, I'm willing to sit over here away from my colleagues and call the fight, but I'm going to go. These guys just fought. I mean, I'm going to show them the respect of what they just did.
Well, there comes a time, you know, it's like, you know, when I was a firefighter, it's like you do all these things for safety, but there comes a point where you run into the burning building and it's just part of the job. And for Joe Rogan to do his job in his mind correctly, he's got to go up there and shake the hand and interview the guy after he won or lost. That's just his job.
But the analogy's a little different here because they're the ones who lit the building on fire.
Well,
do you know what I mean?
With what? With what? He's shaking.
No, I'm saying they're the ones who held the event. Like the fact that we're in a situation where it could be spread is because they chose to do it. So it's like lighting the building on fire and then going, I got to go in and save that cat.
Okay, well, how about this one? You get in your car to drive somewhere. You're taking a risk. Like,
yes,
it's just
absolutely.
It's just part of it.
So I thought this was a brilliant
perfect example. Hang on, Brendan, real quick. That's a perfect example, Troy, because there is a risk of Penelope, my youngest, getting sepsis from her tooth, but yet at the same time, I'm driving as fast as I can to get to the dentist's office.
Yeah.
You know, I'm taking that, like I'm going, because I need to get her there as quickly as possible as emergency, and I could have something else go horribly wrong, but you know, here I don't want the.
Well, there's also a risk of not doing anything and having that tooth rot in her head.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
There's risk. There's always risk.
What I thought
how you manage and mitigate risk is what you should let.
And that's where Rogan is correct.
Right.
Yeah, he's mitigating. He's doing. Yeah. They're hedging their bets. Now, a lot of people are obviously furious at the UFC for even doing this because,
of course,
Karen. Yeah, because look, I don't think you can deny it. In some respects, it was a cash grab, right? So, like, they are putting money ahead of safety, but they're the UFC. Safety has never been the top priority of UFC. It's always kind of been a cash grab at the sake of violence and potential problems. I mean, that's what they do. But
the fighters know that, and it's just so.
It's a cash grab for them too.
I know, but what I'm saying is the comparison is go back to high school when you signed the death waiver that you're going to play football.
Yeah, but there's no cash there. It's just glory. You're damn right. And cheerleaders.
Chicks dig scars.
Cheerleaders, bro. Cheerleaders, bro. I get it. But what I thought was actually brilliant about what Dana White did, and I know that I would catch a lot of shit if I said, like, getting people sick is worth anything. I get it. It's not. You don't want people getting sick. But in all reality, this guy runs sport that is not a number one sport. It's a sport that lives on the outside of mainstream sports, NBA, NFL, NHL, even like Premier League soccer, like all that stuff is like, those are mainstream sports. What he did here was saw that we were living in a drought. We're in a desert where there's no sports. And
so
he put his sports on
was this the fight that had to happen on an island?
He was going to, but it never came to fruition. But so people are mad at him for a cash grab. I think it is less to do with being a cash grab and everything to do with being a market share grab. He just took a huge chunk out of the market share of mainstream sports by being literally the only. Do you realize ESPN is showing Korean baseball right now? I mean, that's how bad it's gotten. They're showing Korean baseball. So
they're over the virus, which didn't really.
Yeah, they're okay now. So they're playing baseball. ESPN showing it. I understand why people are upset with Dana White, but I also understand why he did it, because it was a market share grab. This isn't just cash one time. This is market share for the perpetuity of Ultimate Fighting. This was a huge coup, and unfortunately, he risked some people to do it, and that's going to upset people.
I got to ask you about the market share though. Is that it was the UFC pay-per-view though?
Yes. But
so that's a different market share.
Not really, because here's what they did. This is what makes it so brilliant. They loaded the card, right? They knew that they were going to put out a hell of a show.
Yeah.
Now they have a UFC fight Wednesday night that they're showing on ESPN, and then they have another like pseudo main event this upcoming Saturday that's going to show on ESPN Plus and ESPN. So what he did was, in a drought, he put together the best pay-per-view. He's got schmucks like me talking about it on the air because it was so good, the hardcore.
but he's putting together the second one that's going to get advertisers to pay to be on that?
Yeah, because it's just going to be on ESPN. So now
anybody can watch it.
Yes. And then on Saturday, it's another big event. So what he did is he put together 3 fights in a week's time, 3 major cards in a 3-week time, where he's going to get to show all this UFC. And the first one being the big one that's going to get all the pop and get everybody talking and going crazy. And now you got Wednesday, and now you got Saturday. He has pulled a market share grab in the sports world that was highly calculated and very bright, and granted at the risk of everybody. But what he did, no crowds, everybody's been tested, and he's like, you guys are going to get paid. If you're willing to risk your life, essentially, in 2 ways, you get the shit beat out of you, and you could get this thing, come and get your money, because we're going.
Chances are those athletes, if they catch it, nothing's going to happen to them anyway. I mean, they're in
top
physical condition.
Yeah, you hope. I mean, likely you're right, but I mean, you hope. You God forbid. But this was an interesting move and a very calculated move during a pandemic that This dude's a psycho, and I mean that in a good way.
Well, he's taking advantage of what's given in front of him. But at the same time,
100%.
Did you guys see the? And maybe Tyson's trying to do the same thing. He's back in the gym at 53, saying, "I'm going to go do something."
Yeah, that's certain proof that his cocaine dealer's also under quarantine. Because he looks great.
That kind of worries me. I saw the clip of him. He looks in great shape, but
he looked in great shape for 5 seconds.
But what worries me is he did all those interviews, saying he was done with fighting because, as much as fighting has helped him, it's hurt him too, and it just worries me that he would get back in that game.
Yeah.
and put himself at risk mentally and physically for, another shot of glory. But I guess when you're a top athlete, kind of like Jordan, it's hard to retire. It's hard to settle down and
it's hard to accept your body fading.
Well, we have that we still think and act like we're 25. We don't want to admit that we're not.
No, Troy, listen. We're older, but I was doing a little research, and just so you know, Andre the Giant has the record for drinking.
What the fuck? Andre the Giant's dead.
I know, but he has the beer. He has the beer drinking record of 115 beers in 6 hours. So if we can do 115 beers in a power hour, let's go for it.
He died.
Not from that event.
No, true.
What kind of non sequitur is that? I was saying pro athletes have trouble. You don't take, like, as we're learning with Jordan, like, he's a competitive person. That hasn't stopped,
right.
Even though he's not.
I'm not being competitive because I'm older, and the fact that I don't think I can't do a power hour. I think I can still do a power hour and maybe more.
Did you guys watch the Jordan special last night? Anybody?
No, I
have not seen those two. I haven't. I'm always behind because the wife wants to watch them. We can't stay up that late on a Sunday.
Last week, I admitted that after seeing Michael go through what he had gone through in that season before he left, that I had decided that I no longer believed in the gambling conspiracy.
And I was kind of coming around with your thinking there after I watched those episodes too.
And
yeah, but we haven't seen the last two.
So the last two, they dive head first into the gambling accusations, like head first. Now, I don't know if I have fallen victim to
drinking the Kool-Aid,
the way the producers have portrayed it, because they've intentionally said there's no merit to this, and here's why. But when you watch the footage and you see the guy and you hear the things he says, I'm officially out of the camp, man. He left because he was exhausted. And I didn't realize this, but the only reason he left baseball was because they had a baseball strike.
Yep.
I forgot that there was a strike. Like, in all this research I do and all this crazy stuff, I forgot about the strike.
Because there's been side pro baseball players that are, minor league that did play with him that said, and I read a few articles about it that said, if he hadn't,
he would have made it.
Strike. He said they said he had a more than average chance to continue to the next.
He was progressing.
From minor to go up,
and they were showing
how crazy. How crazy was it watching his gambling in the? I guess it would have been what just came out 7 and 8.
Yeah.
So in 5 and 6, they were showing him like throwing quarters against the wall for $20 with security guys. Like the dude, like
security guy.
Yeah, John Paxton saying we sat in the front of the bus where we play with dollars.
Yeah,
and the guys in the game.
And Jordan would still come up there to take their dollars because he wanted to win it all.
So he could say he doesn't have a drinking. That's me talking. Because I use myself as the same thing. Like, he can say he doesn't have a gambling problem, but he does. I mean, it didn't affect his life, but that doesn't mean you don't have a gambling problem.
Yeah, his competition problem is a gambling problem amongst all the kinds of other competition.
Yeah,
but man, I'm telling you, these last two episodes they fucked me up. Like, I'm back. Like, I'm like, Jordan did not retire due to this whole thing, and Jordan didn't leave baseball for some unrelated reason. Like, there was a strike, and now he can't be competitive. So
you're back to thinking he left basketball because he was tired of the shit show that was his
tired
life.
Of the media on top of him. He was tired of the scrutiny. He was tired.
But that didn't change with baseball.
No, but it changed on some level. It changed in the sense that he was in a locker room because he still needed that locker room, right? He was in a locker room full of guys that really didn't care about the fact that, who he was. They're all just trying to get $45,000 a year. If anything, they're like, why are you here? You don't belong with us. You should have started 2 levels down, but you're here strictly because this was the only stadium that had a large enough press section to deal with the circus that comes with you. So we had to elevate you 2 steps because this is the only place we could slot you in and handle it. So he played,
Didn't they talk about the fact that Jordan and like there's only a handful of guys that could handle that type of press and that type of scrutiny and that type of attention from the general public, and he did it. He did it for a long time, but not, there's a lot, like they were talking about Kobe and the personality and then other things that, there's only a handful of guys that would be that successful and handle it for so long. And then you just say, I'm out.
It was crazy. Like the wife and I were watching, 5 and 6, and there was a part where he's laying on a couch smoking a cigar in a hotel room, and they're cutting.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
and it's like both of us are sitting there going,
"That life sucks."
He says it. He's like, you don't want this life. He's like, this is my jail cell, and it literally was. And they cut to somebody going, as soon as he leaves his hotel room door, there's swarms of people. He came off the elevator, and the lobby was packed with people just wanting to get a picture.
Yeah, like crazy amounts of people. And so here's why I really believe it. Look at the life he has led since basketball. It's mostly out of the public eye. I mean, he really does step away from this. He doesn't want anything to do with the public eye. Yes, he now owns the Hornets and he does that, but he's out, man. He does.
Yeah,
in fact,
he could be a TV talking head or something easily.
Oh, easily, but he doesn't want any part of it. And
he stopped all of the. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, this is a crazy little side fact that not many people realize. All of those houses that Jordan is in during the interviews, he's so reclusive and so much out of the limelight. The producers had to source the homes. They're rental homes. Those aren't Jordan's homes.
Oh, because he don't want anybody in his house.
He doesn't want anyone seeing his inside life. He's literally going into a rental home, doing the conversation, and then he's going home. He's like, screw you guys. You're not even allowed in my house. That goes to the fact that he really wants out of this shit. Now, he's going to accept this for what it is because for whatever reason he did this, but he's still a recluse. I've completely gone full circle. You go back 4 weeks on this show, you hear how I'm spouting these same conspiracy theories, and I believe, and that's something that's another cancer that's been building in me for a long time, and I believed it. I'm out. Michael Jordan is not a saint, but he's not guilty of that particular sin.
Well, the wife and I have been watching, and we've been behind because we don't stay up that late on Sundays, but I had heard after the first couple episodes that he comes across as a dickhead, and we watched.
He is a dickhead.
So we watched 6 episodes, and both of us think he's not the dickhead that the media was saying he was. Like, he's a competitive person, but
if you understand who he is, that's what comes with it.
Wait till you see these episodes. The only time you see him get emotional, he's talking about his dad. Then they show footage of him after winning the title after his dad.
Oh,
he's
I
saw
the clip.
Crying. And it's
they showed that. I saw the clip, the highlight of him literally laying on the floor sobbing like an 8-year-old who didn't get the present they want on Christmas.
But then there's one other time he gets emotional, and it's when he's talking about, if you guys can't try as hard as I'm trying, then don't play with me. Like, you can go somewhere else. I don't give a shit. But if you can't do what I'm doing, I don't want you. And he gets emotional then. So he's gotten emotional about 2 things: family and your commitment to helping me win. Period.
Well, I saw the highlight where he said, he said, one thing none of my teammates will ever say is Michael Jordan didn't do what Michael Jordan asked me to do. And I mean, that to me, that's what a leader does. Leaders don't lead. They lead by example. And you see in the clips, he's outrunning everybody. He's outworking everybody.
Every time.
And in one of the clips I saw that was great. I mean, he basically said, I wanted them to feel what it was like to be great. Like I wanted. Like, it wasn't just a Michael Jordan thing. Like, he really comes across as a great teammate.
Well, he's demanding, he's expecting the same out of everyone, and that's a great teammate, but not every single personality fits that source of inspiration.
If you can't handle that amount of pressure, then you can't play with a guy like that, because the truth is he's an asshole, but he's an asshole for the right reasons.
But if you've ever been in a situation, I've had it with work people, I've had it with the fire department, I've had it in various realms of life where you just meet certain people that are just leaders, and you don't take it as being an asshole. You just take it as, I'm going to follow this person. I mean, and he seems like in the videos that I'm seeing in practice and stuff, he's driven, and I would want to follow that guy. Like, I would do the work that is he's asking of me. I mean, and his resume says it works, because we're following the last season. He's already won 5 championships. So after he won the first 3, if anyone questioned his work ethic, that's their stupidity.
Yeah, it's reselling me on the fact that he's the greatest of all time. Because when he retired, they were like, the greatest of all time's retiring. And then he came back 2 seasons later and fucking won 3 more. Come on.
Yeah.
He's already that's insane.
He is.
Everybody forgets about my boy Shaq and the Magic that shut him down, that Eastern Conference final.
Why don't you watch these 2 episodes? We'll come back next week.
Hey, look.
Because honestly, that goes very much into it. They show how Michael Jordan came back, but he was in baseball form, and he was like, "I'm not built for this." And yes, they lost, but keep in mind they were a 500 team when he came back, and they were already like, damn near 70 games into the season. They eked did
he come back halfway through that second season?
Came back 3/4 of the way through the season because of the strike, and he had this skinny little baseball body. Because that's all, he was all in on baseball. They failed.
I forgot about that.
And then they come back the following year and they beat the crap out of the same Shaq Hardaway team.
Oh yeah. No. It's just funny. There's like, people don't realize that it was actually 2 full seasons, not
Yeah, exactly right. He played like 10 games,
Because the calendar, the way the calendar number looks at it, it's like, oh, well, there's, he won 3, was gone for a year, then won 3 more.
He was gone for 2. No, he was gone for 2 because they didn't win in 94, 95.
Yeah, but he came back and played like 10, 12 games.
Yeah.
That one season. Got him into the playoffs and then failed in the playoffs. And
what round did they lose in that? Was it the first round, second round?
I believe it was the second round, but don't quote me on that.
Because I don't think the Magic ever made it to a final, so it couldn't have been the Eastern.
No, the Magic didn't make it. Well,
no, Shaq needed Kobe, and Kobe needed Shaq. But I question if Shaq really needed Kobe as he got better, because Shaq was kind of the baddest dude ever. Like he was just too big. Like you literally couldn't mess with the guy. Like he would just back you up. Until they invented the Hack-a-Shaq, he was literally unstoppable.
Well, it's like a below average 40-year-old man playing a really skilled 10-year-old. Like that kid might be able to out dribble and out shoot you all day, but you got game. Yeah, you've been playing long enough that you're like, oh, I'll just swat you. Yeah. I'll just back you in and lay it up every time.
Man, you know what I feel bad about right now? Because speaking about prolific champions, that's us. We still have – I've only crossed off 3 topics. I have more topics left on the board than we hit tonight.
That's crazy.
That is crazy, man.
That doesn't happen a lot.
Maybe I'll show up later more often.
I wish a motherfucker would.
Started like – We started like 2 minutes before you got on. Like we hadn't even.
You should have seen me. I was scrambling.
But that's good. I think we got a couple topics that actually can ride into next week. Only one
is about to jump in.
Oh well, then we'll just run it back.
Back to back.
Nah, this has actually been a lot of fun. I know when I came in tonight, I was feeling a little down. I wasn't feeling great. I'd had kind of a long weekend, not a lot of sleep. It wasn't that I was super hungover. I was at a Friday night. I don't know what the hell happened Friday night, but Saturday was fairly mellow. Sunday was mellow. I wasn't
even going to drink tonight. You talked me into it, and I think you were correct.
Well, you're lightly drinking. Don't make me
rewind real quick back to the deli. I didn't ask, what's the Lagunitas phase change cost point? For is it a 4 or 6?
It's impossible for us to know.
Yeah, it's the same answer every week because we bought them all, and I mean I want to say it was a 4-pack, and I want to say it was your $10 to $12. Was it a 4-pack, Brendan? I didn't have extras. Did you have?
Then
any
it's
extras?
a 4-pack.
Yeah,
But it's worth it.
But it's 16 ounce too, not the
16 ounce.
It's not the 12 high noon.
It's worth it.
It's an expensive beer. I mean, it's above average beer, but it's worth it.
It's worth it for sure.
Better than the high noon.
Shout out to Ryan Parker for helping us out with that.
Yes,
that is
Thank
a
you,
good
Ryan,
deal. Now, if you guys want beer, you just call Ryan at 804-855-4567, and he'll buy you a 6-pack. Actually, that's not how that works. That's not how that works at all. In fact, that's not how this works, for the record, because I know he doesn't like that. But if you guys do have insurance need, do reach out to Tao Insurance, Ryan Parker, 804-855-4567.
Hey, even if you're like, oh, I already have insurance, hit him up, because he's already come to Ely and said he could beat most everything Ely has. So,
which is insane, because Ely gets all of his insurance through friends.
Yeah.
So that's crazy to hear. Speaking of friends discounts, Nectar sunglasses, if you drop ITPH in the coupon code, you get 30% off of those. My wife just got a pair of Nectars in the mail the other day, and these are the best Nectars she's ever had as far as like how they look on her face. Like I'm blown away. I think they're the bohos.
Boho. Uh-huh.
Dude, she looks fantastic in these things.
Nice.
Great.
Yeah, like I can't even tell when she's rolling her eyes at me. It's been great for both of us. It's been
you
really
can still
nice.
hear it though, right?
True Mother's Day gift.
Yeah,
dude, it's funny you say that, because I gave a shout out to my buddy Adam, who donated some money to our
respect
to our Venmo account at Inside the Pallet House. Well, he had bought some glasses for he and his wife for at the 420 sale.
That was the best deal.
Yeah. So, but I saw on Facebook yesterday, his wife Andrea hit me up and said her boys, air quote, her 2 young sons, got her another pair of nectars for Mother's Day. So I'm sure they used that TPH.
I hope they did, because that would have saved them 30% off of what's already a good deal.
They liked them so much after the 420 sale. She got another pair.
I love hearing
good
that.
On Andrea.
I love hearing that. That's awesome. If you guys haven't had a chance to send us money at Venmo at Inside the Pallet House, we're always willing to accept it. We're literally taking all the money, we're just putting it into Facebook ads. So that's exactly where your money will go. That's what we're doing with it. I also understand though that it's kind of callous to ask for money in a time like this. So if you're hurting, if you don't have a good situation right now, please don't send us money. That's fucking stupid. But what do
you think it costs? It costs us $100 a month, probably at least to do this.
It depends if I'm advertising or not.
Ads, beer, bandwidth, all that stuff.
Oh, easily. But that's neither here nor there. But your point is well taken. And if you haven't had a chance to reach out if you haven't had a chance to reach out to us with topics, you could always do so at insidethepallethouse@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. It's the easiest way to get a hold of us. We honestly do check that before every episode and listen. Cincinnati swaps are more difficult than ever. You can't really grab your friend's phone because they're going to be like, why did you just touch my phone? So send an email, send a text, send something. Say, hey, check out this show. The more listeners we have, the better, and the more you have to talk to with that person. So send it out there. Let them get to check it out. We'd certainly appreciate the help. If you haven't reached out to us on Facebook, it's Inside the Pallet House Podcast on Facebook. We're easy to find. And you can always find us on Twitter and Instagram at ITPH Podcast. We'd love to hear from you. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please do stay safe. I think
rate and review.
You've heard it tonight. Yeah. I'm dealing with the mental issues. Everybody's dealing with this. It's not an easy time. Please do take care of yourself. And if we bring any joy, then reach out, talk to us. We'll talk about your topic. We'll bring you up. If that gives you some little, glimmer of normalcy or hope, then we're glad to do it. Not that anyone really gives a shit about what we're saying, but we're glad to. It also does does numbers for us. You know, it's good for us to hear from you. So thank you guys so much for tuning in week in, week out. Stay safe. We'll talk to you soon. Cheers.
Cheers.
Peace out.
That was a pretty good podcast, I think.